One tough life lesson for professional athletes? There are only so many championship rings that can be handed out in this world. Some of the top athletes put up magnificent careers. They were better than practically everybody else. And yet their team just wasn't good enough to capture a title. Some of the top athletes today are learning this the hard way as we speak. I'm Justin Fraction, and today we present 10 athletes who won't win a ring because of their team. And a big shout out to Low Def Ninja 1220 for suggesting this list. We do hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, feel free to click subscribe down below for more cool videos every single day. Number 10, Marc Gasol. While brother Powell captured a pair of rings with the LA Lakers, Memphis Grizzlies standout Marc Gasol is starting to realize a championship may not be destined for him. Despite being one of the league's top defensive players on a consistent playoff team, Gasol and the Grizzlies just haven't had enough firepower. They've never been able to get through the Warriors or Spurs, just not enough superstardom. The Grizzlies are good but not great. As such, they may see one of their franchise icons retire ringless. A shame, but probably a reality. Number 9, Joe Mauer. One of the greatest players in Minnesota Twins history, Joe Mauer has done more than enough to cement his place in the Baseball Hall of Fame. The 2009 AL MVP owns a trio of batting titles and 3 Gold Gloves. Mauer helped the Twins win 4 AL Central titles, but they can never get through the pesky New York Yankees. Mauer's Twins have become one of baseball's flat-out worst teams of this decade, but yet he's been way too loyal to them. And because his team is so bad, Mauer ain't gonna win a championship. He doesn't seem very interested in moving, so expect him to finish off his career without a title. Number 8, Joe Thomas. Unbelievable. 10 Pro Bowl selections in his first 10 NFL seasons. Yep, Joe Thomas has been something else in his Hall of Fame career. He's been the lone bright spot on way too many awful Cleveland Browns teams. But Thomas loves Cleveland and has been loyal to them his entire career. Good for Thomas, but the Browns figure to be quite bad for a long time. Credit him for choosing loyalty over ring chasing, but he's still on our list. Number 7, Joey Votto. When all is said and done, Votto could go down as the greatest Canadian in MLB history. The 2010 NL MVP is constantly smashing 30 homers and always bats above 300, which is really good, by the way. The perennial all-star helped the Cincinnati Reds reach the playoffs in 2010, 12, and 13, but no playoff series victories followed. Votto's expensive contract ensures he stays in Cincy for the long run, and with the Reds in the midst of a long-term rebuild, it's tough to see this Canadian star winning the championship he deserves. Number 6, Andrew Luck. Time is funny. Remember when Luck led the Indianapolis Colts to 3 straight 11-win seasons from 2012 to 14? And they reached the 2014 AFC Championship and looked poised to dominate for years and years? Well, things change quick. The Colts' defense is awful, their front office is a mess, and the offensive line lets other defenses abuse Luck like a punching bag. That's not good. Luck signed a long-term extension that keeps him in Indy the rest of his prime years. We know the Colts are awful at drafting and aren't really run that well. As such, you should not be shocked if Luck retires ringless. Number 5, Blake Griffin. Griffin has been one of the top scoring machines in this decade. Unfortunately, his LA Clippers just haven't been able to get to the 3rd round of the playoffs. Despite having a great sidekick in Chris Paul all those years, the Clippers never broke through. Well, Paul got traded to the Houston Rockets in 2017. Griffin chose to stay loyal and resign in LA for the max. Sorry, Blake, but the Warriors, Rockets, and Spurs aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The Clippers aren't likely to compete for a championship. Even with Griffin, his team constantly melts down in the playoffs. No reason to believe that changes for the duration of his contract. Number 4, Daniel and Henrik Sedin. Henrik is first all-time in Vancouver Canucks scoring. Daniel Sedin is second. Both players have a scoring title to their names, but the Twins have missed out on the Stanley Cup. They were awfully close in 2011 but have since been stuck on a really bad team. The Sedins have devoted their loyalty to Vancouver, willing to stick around for a painful rebuilding process. Too bad the Twins happen to be well past their primes, though. Because the Canucks are so terrible, the Twins are likely to retire as non-Stanley Cup champions. Number 3, Adrian Peterson. It's a shame that the Minnesota Vikings released Adrian Peterson. They were a young contender on the rise, but chose to bid adieu to their franchise superstar. So Peterson joined forces with Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints in 2017. Unfortunately, the Saints are as mediocre as it gets, racking up constant 7 and 9 seasons. The Vikings weren't great enough for Peterson. The Saints aren't much better. He'll be the modern-day Barry Sanders, the most dominant running back of his era that couldn't win a championship. Number 2, Adrian Beltre. With over 3,000 career hits and no steroids on his resume, third baseman Adrian Beltre will one day be a Hall of Famer. The perennial all-star Gold Glover and Silver Slugger has done everything you can ask for. He struck out on a World Series opportunity with the Boston Red Sox. He came so close with the Texas Rangers in 2010 and 11, but came out empty-handed. Beltre's Rangers constantly melt down in the playoffs, and this aging team figures to undergo a rebuild soon. With the powerhouse Houston Astros miles better than their interstate foes, the Rangers' championship window is seemingly closed. That means Beltre will retire without a ring unless he shockingly leaves Texas. and number 1, Larry Fitzgerald. Despite having so many awful quarterbacks throwing to him, Larry Fitzgerald is among the all-time leaders in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. It's simply beautiful to watch him play. The perennial Pro Bowler led his Arizona Cardinals to Super Bowl 43, where they all fell to the Pittsburgh Steelers by a hair. They reached the NFC Championship in 2015, but Carson Palmer let the Cardinals down. Fitzgerald's Cardinals were mediocre in 2016, and it's likely they'll remain mediocre for the rest of his career in Arizona. As sad as it is, we expect Fitzgerald to end up as a ringless Hall of Famer. Too bad. He's ultra classy and has been great for so long, but the Cardinals couldn't repay him with a title. What other great athletes won't win a ring because of their team? Join us in the comments section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton and we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to Total Pro Sports though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.